Hey guys, so this is going to be another fitting video. So in this one, we're going to be talking about the Minotaur logistics again, because it's kind of my main fitting, my main setup. There's a whole bunch of other ones that I could go over, but just the main one that I've been using, and I have something that was really cool that I found out is that I can run all prototype equipment on this one and a proto weapon, which I think is fantastic. I still even have a little bit of PG left, not enough CPU to fit anything else, like for instance if I wanted to upgrade to complex plates or something, but let's just go into it and check it out. So at first I had 3 complex shield extenders on the top, but now I have 1 complex and 2 enhanced after the buff. So now the difference between the prototype and the enhanced whatever is only, what, 16, 13? Yeah, 16 HP. So when when you're talking about 2 extenders, that's only another, what, like 30 HP that you get on your suit. So it really helps save the PG and CPU, especially compared to the complex one. Then I'm using a complex precision enhancer because, you know, those damn scouts, you don't want to have them sneak up on you, and it actually helps a lot. I'm not sure what the stats are or how much it really helps, but it does seem to be working. Then we have 3 enhanced armor plates over on the side in order to get me that 550 HP, which I feel is a good amount for at least the Minotaur one. Overall, that's about 800 HP that I have, or 850, and then I also have a complex armor repair here that'll get me that almost 10 armor repair rate, which is good. Then, like I said, using a proto weapon, so the 6-kin assault combat rifle. For grenade, it's really a matter of preference. I like the flux grenades a lot better than the locust or the AV grenades, although AV grenades seem to be actually really effective with all these vehicles and stuff running around. But at the same time, I mean, it's not like you're going to be able to kill them, it's just, you know, being able to scare them away. Flux grenades are just good for getting rid of equipment. Then, now in terms of equipment, like I just said, I'm running 4, what are they called? Four prototype equipment. So now, if you notice, I'm using almost all flux. So flux repair tool, flux active scanner, flux drop uplink. I think this is the whole reason why I'm using a flux grenade, because just it's like a flux fitting. That's maybe what I should call it. Then the Ishikane gauge nanohive, because the flux nanohive is just kind of silly. I use the gauge because it's nice to have, you know, lots of nanohives to be able to give out. Anyways, in terms of the flux equipment though, the flux drop uplink here, it gives the best bonus for the prototype one, which is good, and so you want to be able to get people in as quickly as possible, and unless you're using an MR, you're not gonna get it any quicker than the flux, unless you use RM and you spend it on that one, I forget what it's called. But anyways, we have our Kraton Flux Active Scanner, my favorite equipment in the game so far. It's just super effective. It has a medium cooldown, a huge scan distance, and a huge scan angle, which just makes it fantastic for finding the enemy. And then of course now this is different, because if you've ever watched my videos, I usually use a core focused, or I use a what is it called? The other one. I use like a BDR8 or something, or I never use the dual beams, and if I'm going to use a dual beam, then I might use a triage or whatever. But the Lie-Die seems to work the best, because, or at least on the Minotaur, that is. If you're using another Log GCU, I would recommend just sticking with whatever you're using and not the Lie-Die. But if you are using the Minotaur logistics, the extra range that you get makes it ridiculous. You can be standing on top of a tabletop or on top of a tower or something, not a tower, but like a little building, and rep people on the ground, or rep people up on top of the tabletop or something. It's kind of ridiculous how far the range gets on this, and it makes it so that you keep your locks and you don't have to keep relocking on. So that's pretty much how this one works. Then we have our support highs, which is basically the same fit up, or the same fitting or whatever. The only difference in the high and low slots is this complex armor plate versus the enhanced one. So it gives me a little bit more armor, and that's only because I'm using the triage nanohive over here. So I have one triage one gauge, so one that gives a ton of ammo, one that gives a ton of healing, And then we have our scanner again, but then the biggest difference is the gauged uplink. So pretty much what we're doing is that instead of focusing on sticking with players, you kind of, this is like a base setup. So gauge drop uplinks to drop 3 uplinks, and then you can drop 3 of these things, and then 2 more triage ones for a good setup that isn't spamming. You're not switching over to a setup in order to just spam a whole bunch of nano hives or whatever, and it still seems super effective. Again, not so much different from this one, but again, this one is more for, this one actually has the repair tool. It's for falling around heavies. This one is just for base setup and defense, I guess. It's also a little bit slower because of that extra armor plate, but at the same time, you're not going to really be moving around much. And in terms of speed for this one, well, yes, it might be beneficial to drop an armor plate for a sprint mod or do something because you are a Minotaur. The sprint speed of 6.5 seems to be decent. It's not great, but it works, especially when you're running with heavies. I mean, you're not really going to have to run faster than them or anything. It's just, when trying to get away from an enemy, it kind of gets annoying to have a slow movement speed. But then, the other one that I wanted to mention before I get out of here is my mass driver fitting. Now this one, eventually, once they release the officer mass driver, I will be using an officer mass driver on this fitting. It's fantastic. What it is it's in a Commando. I've got 1 enhanced light damage mod, an enhanced plate, and 2 complex armor repairs. So my armor repair is actually faster than my shield recharge. Imagine that. But then I'm using a Visium Scrambler right now and an advanced mass driver, but what I normally do is I'll use an advanced scrambler and a proto mass driver. Either way, they both seem very effective. It's just that with this fitting, I can actually I'm not focusing on getting mass driver kills or anything, but if I'm using an officer mass driver, I might as well use either a Visium or the advanced and maybe sacrifice something else somewhere else, but the scrambler isn't as important, I guess. The scrambler is just mainly to tear down through people's armor a little bit before you actually start throwing out your mass driver rounds, because if you get into a situation where you're going up against 1,000 HP heavy, you don't want to spam mass driver rounds, or else you're gonna have to reload like twice. It just won't work. You have to weaken them down a little bit before you can actually get them to a killing point. And then the X3 Nano Hive, because it's the fastest one, that pretty much gives you the best ammo regen for the advanced level and doesn't cost a lot of fitting space. And that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, I've got quite a few other ones, but honestly, if you go look at my other fitting video, most of them haven't changed. So, I mean, there's a few changes to like the scrambler and some other things, but then again, I mean, they're just kind of standard fittings. So, hopefully, we'll be seeing some more mass driver footage and some other things that I'll upload here soon, but it just all depends on when I can get around to it. There's a lot of it. Honestly, I went and did the mass driver event, and it took forever. There's so much I was doing, and I still didn't even win, but oh well. Either way, I'm gonna be getting that up soon. I just need to sort through it and find the best stuff, and then make a cool montage, and hopefully you guys like that.